All right. So the Vikings' final stretch of practice at OTAs finally wraps up today. A little breather until mandatory veteran OTAs from June 7th to the 9th. ESPN's latest article predicted the top rookie performers in each statistical category yesterday, and wouldn't you know it, Lewis Cine was highlighted not once, but twice. ESPN predicts Cine will come in third of all NFL rookies in tackles, just behind Ravens' Kyle Hamilton and Jaguars' Devin Lloyd. They also have him predicted to come away with the second most interceptions as a rookie, behind only Sauce Gardner. The article notes Cine's physical abilities. We've all seen on tape. We've seen the highlights. His instincts to fly around to the ball carrier, and his leadership on a Georgia team that won the national championship, and Cine was named MVP after an outstanding college playoff football run. While all those things are great, Reggie, for rookies to come in and produce, they still need opportunities first and foremost. And Cine is currently projected to fill the shoes of Xavier Woods, who left in free agency to start next to Harrison Smith. It's so hard to predict these stats, especially among rookies. But, since the draft has ended, there's been a lot of buzz around Cine and how he fits in Minnesota. First of all, do you think he will, in fact, be the starter week 1? And 2, do you tend to agree with ESPN that Cine could make a big impact his first year? Just your overall thoughts when it comes to expectations for the Vikings' first-round pick, Lewis Cine.
So I think that they picked him because they were high on him. Mm-hmm. And I think he could be one of the sleeper players in the draft. It's interesting because, so much was made about, okay, yeah, we're going to get Cam Bynum involved, and, he's going to be the starting safety out, on the other side of Harrison Smith. And now you're kind of at a position where you're just like, let's try to find a way to get all these guys in there, because, you draft a guy like Lewis Cine, who was so productive, at Georgia, as a guy who can come in and make an impact right away. And that defense does need some help, with some of the plays that they let up last season. I'm looking at the Detroit Lions game.
Don't do it.
Right there at the end. Maybe if they had a little bit more, athleticism, safety help, whatever you want to call it, maybe that play that ends the game doesn't happen. And maybe you're talking about a totally different Vikings team this year. And so I expect big things from Lewis Cine. They obviously are high on him, and they've talked him up big, during the time that he's been there. And I expect him to have a solid rookie year.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, he has to go out and earn that starting job. And you do that in these OTAs. You do that in training camp and the preseason games. Second, if he can do that, I think we need to learn a little bit more about Ed Donatell's system and exactly how he to deploy his different looks, different packages, different wrinkles. What's the nickel sub package going to look like? Is it going to look different on 3rd and 7 versus 3rd and 12? Is it going to be Harrison Smith in the box, or is it going to be Cine? Is it going to be asked to be more center field type and roam in the back? Or is he going to match up with tight ends and running backs? It's too early to know all these things until we glean more from what Donatell wants to run and how he wants to maximize his player's skill set. It's just really hard to predict how productive each individual player is going to be. Having said, I think Cine has shown all the tools in the world on tape and been productive at such a high level against some of these college football's best competition in the world. So I, for one, think if he can get on the field early and win that starting job outright within the first few weeks from Cam Bynum, which remains to be seen, as you mentioned, Reggie. Cam Bynum looked sharp last year, flashed a lot of promise. He's not just going to give that starting job away. If he can do that, though, I think he's got a chance to tally up a handful of nice stats by year's end. Now that we're on the subject, Lewis Cine aside, let's go through the Vikings defense and make our own predictions. Let's start with sacks, because I think this is an easy one for most people. Everyone should be saying Danielle Hunter and following it up with, as long as he can stay healthy. But it's true. I mean, when healthy, Hunter is clearly the best pass rusher on the team and has proven that. So who's second behind Hunter for most sacks, in your opinion, in 2022?
It's got to be Za'Darius Smith. That's
Gotta
what they
be.
signed him for, right?
Yeah, Hunter, Za'Darius. I think that's a pretty easy one. Clear cut, pretty heavy in the top two. How about tackles? Obviously, a linebacker usually leads the team in tackles. Safety usually a close second or third, which is not a good sign for your team's run defense because that means all the ball carriers are getting deep into the second and third levels of your defense. But who do you think are the top two tacklers on the Vikings in 2022?
Oh, you gave me two. All right, the top two tacklers I see being Eric Kendricks and Jordan Hicks.
Both guys in the middle. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Kendricks obviously should be most people's number one pick. Jordan Hicks, quietly 3 straight 100-plus tackle seasons.
That's what I'm saying.
Quietly, 1 year, $4 million deal, I think, something like that. I mean, cheap, got him on the cheap, man. Great deal, especially when switching over to his 3-4. They were
productive player.
Yeah, they were in desperate need of another inside middle linebacker there. So Jordan Hicks, I think, could prove to be very valuable when it comes to Ed Donatell's new 3-4 team. Harrison Smith, always in the mix up there. He's always sneaky, getting up into the box as well. Finally, interceptions. This one's always toughest to predict unless you have one like true shutdown cornerback or something like that, like a Revis Island or Jalen Ramsey. There's so many factors at play. A ball gets tipped up in the air at the line of scrimmage. All of a sudden, Armin Watts is scampering 32 yards to the house for his first career INT. Who do you got leading the Vikings defense in interceptions?
This is a tough one because you want to say maybe like Patrick Peterson, but like he got his first and only interception of the year in the very last game of the season.
Teams don't throw his way. They didn't last year anyways.
Right. And so this one is tough, man. I'll say Cam Dantzler.
For me, my gut instinct wants to go to a safety position. They're able to roam around a little bit more. But again, I don't know who's going to be in the box in run defense mode and who's going to be in center field more. So that one's tough. You know what? I'm going to go with a little wild card here. I think Eric Kendricks not only leads the team in tackles, I think he leads the team in interceptions as well. Had a great one-handed pick against Detroit last year.
That was
definitely
amazing.
one for his highlight reel. These, of course, just a crapshoot. It's early, June 3rd today, but it's fun to go up and down the roster and kind of highlight just how good this defense could be when healthy under Ed Donatell.